Welcome to Cook the Garden Podcast, your weekly audio source for delicious and easy garden fresh recipes and growing tips. I'm your host, Ginain. Let's cook the garden. Hello, and welcome back to Cook the Garden Podcast. I want to share about an exciting opportunity for you to learn how to build your very own charcuterie board in the comfort of your own kitchen. On Saturday, April 29th at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm hosting a live virtual class on Zoom, taking you through all of the steps for creating a delicious and seasonal brunch charcuterie board. Impress your guests this spring and summer and save a lot of money while making your very own masterpiece. I'm offering a special 10% off discount code just for my Cook the Garden listeners. So just go to cookprayslay.com under the Cooking Classes tab. Use the code CookTheGarden10, that's CookTheGarden10, to get your special rate. I'll include all of the links and information in the show notes. I've really been looking forward to this episode. I'm one of those people who love salads. I eat salads year round, and what goes in it is just based off of the seasons, right? Like what I have in my garden, what's readily available, and I just absolutely love salads. So I just thought it'd be fitting, since we just talked about making your own salad dressings in last week's episode, which was Season 2, Episode 5. I'll share that link in the show notes as well. But I just thought it'd be really fitting to share one of my favorite salad recipes for you, which I can't wait to share that. And then I'll just, share a few tips on growing your own salad garden, because I tell you what, there's nothing like it. And that truly is a thing, a salad garden. So if you haven't heard of that term yet, I'll dig into that a little bit more. But as the weather starts to warm up around so many areas, gardens all around are coming back to life. And it's so exciting to see that. And one of the best ways to enjoy all that spring has to offer is just, with a beautiful, nutritious salad that you can just go and pick all of those delicious greens and lettuces and all of that good stuff you can make right there at home, garden to plate. So I'll talk a little bit about that and get into some of what those ingredients look like. We'll talk about adding some texture and what ingredients to use for adding texture, adding color, adding flavor, all of that good stuff we'll jump into today. And then I have my delicious and truly one of my favorite salads is my Blackened Shrimp and Avocado Salad, guys. You're going to absolutely love it. It's so great because it's versatile. If you don't do seafood, that's perfectly fine, because you can switch it out with any other protein, chicken, fish. You can go the whole vegan route. So it's super versatile, and I'll share that as well. Okay, so first things first, let's talk about ingredients. What can you use for a spring salad? And the answer to this is pretty much anything that's fresh and in season. But just here are a few ideas to get you started. First, let's talk about the greens. You've got spinach, arugula, and lettuces are all really great options. They're also packed with so many nutrients like vitamin A, iron, and then you can also use some unusual greens like mustard greens or mizuna, which is also referred to as Japanese mustard greens, or watercress for a slightly spicy kick. So you have a few options there. So let's talk about adding some texture and crunch, because I love that. That's my favorite thing about a salad is I love a textured and crunchy salad, right? So you can use radishes, snap peas, thinly sliced fennel are all really great choices for adding texture to your salad. And don't forget about nuts and seeds. Maybe try adding some sliced almonds, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds for a little bit of extra crunch there. It really does go a long way. Now let's add a little bit of color, right? So spring is the perfect time for bright, vibrant produce like strawberries, asparagus, maybe some baby carrots. Roasting or grilling veggies will also bring out some natural sweetness and it'll add even more flavor to your salad. So I love complementing my salads with a grilled veggie. So definitely give that a try. And don't forget to play around with, I mentioned the strawberries. Fruits as well as vegetables are really great options. So play around with those flavors. It's so much fun just to experiment and see what you like. And as for the dressing, check out last week's episode. Again, I mentioned earlier that season 2, episode number 5, where I talk all things garden to table salad dressing. I also have an entire blog post that's dedicated to making your own salad dressing. So I'll add that in the show notes below so you can have access to all of that information. Now let's get into making my refreshing and tasty blackened shrimp and avocado salad. Okay, so for the ingredients, you're going to start with 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil, 1 pound of large shrimp, peeled and deveined. And remember, you can switch out the shrimp for something else. 2 teaspoons of blackened seasoning. So for the blackened seasoning, I actually have a homemade recipe for this. I'll include that link in the show notes. I rarely ever get store-bought blackened seasoning anymore because it's so easy to make your own and it's healthier. So if you want that recipe, definitely click on the link in the show notes. So again, 2 tablespoons or 2 teaspoons of the blackened seasoning, 5 to 6 cups of your favorite lettuce or salad mix. I recommend arugula, butter lettuce, or romaine would probably be my top 3 choices. 1 red bell pepper sliced, a half a red onion sliced, 1 cucumber sliced, and you want to use some fresh cilantro for garnish, and then some non-stick cooking spray. All right, so to get started, you're going to thaw out your shrimp if it's frozen. And then you're going to go ahead and marinate it with the olive oil and your blackening season. You're going to go ahead and heat a non-stick skillet or cast iron pan on, I would say, medium to high heat. Make sure to add cooking spray or a little bit of oil to the pan, and that pan needs to be nice and hot, okay? Because you're going to go ahead and add your shrimp to the hot pan, and it's going to cook for about 2 to 3 minutes on each side until the shrimp is nicely seared on each side. So that's why it's important for the pan to be really hot, because you want to get a nice sear on that shrimp. And once that's done, you're going to go ahead and you're going to set your shrimp aside. And while the shrimp is cooling, you're going to go ahead and then you'll assemble your salad. So you're going to add your lettuce, your peppers, cucumber, your red onion, and your avocado. Then you're going to top it off with the shrimp and your fresh chopped cilantro, and that's it. How easy is that? Now, since this salad is so flavorful and it has a bold combination of the ingredients, you'll want to choose a dressing that complements these flavors without overpowering it too much. So I recommend a light and citrusy dressing would be a really great choice for this salad. It'll add just to the refreshing a refreshing touch to it without really like overpowering all the other ingredients in there. A few more dressing options to consider would be like a citrus vinaigrette, or even a honey mustard dressing, or a cilantro lime dressing would be really, really amazing with this as well. So you can get really creative. But like I said, I do have a whole blog post dedicated to dressings, so don't forget to check out the show notes for that as well. So, before we close out today's conversation, I did tease out earlier that I wanted to share a few of my simple tips for starting a salad garden. So, for those of you who've been considering it, or you just don't know where to start or what to plant, here are just a few of my quick and simple tips. So, first, you want to make sure you choose a sunny location. So, salad greens need at least 6 hours of direct sunlight per day. So choose a location that gets plenty of sun. If you don't have a spot with full sun, look for a location that gets at least morning sun and afternoon shade. So definitely just look around, look in your environment where you are and where the sun is, how sunny it gets. That is you're going to be your first step, and then you're going to prepare your soil. Salad greens prefer soil that's rich in organic matter. It's well draining. So figure out if you want to use raised beds, containers, if you're going to do in-ground gardening. There are so many different methods you can use. So definitely research that, but you want to make sure that you take some time to prepare that soil. And then you're going to pick your seeds, figure out what you enjoy eating, such as lettuce, spinach, arugula, kale. There's so many different options. So figure out what you like and grow it. You can grow them by seed, or you can also get starter plants as well. So if you are sowing seeds directly into your garden bed or your container, definitely take a look at the package. Take a look at the package your seeds came in and follow those directions. Keep the soil moist. And you don't want to overwater it though. And be patient. Salad greens actually take anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks to actually mature. So it takes a little bit of patience, but once they start they get going. It really is amazing to watch the process. And as far as harvesting your greens, once the leaves are large enough, and just depending on what particular item you're growing, you can start harvesting them. And I always try to use scissors or a sharp knife to cut the outer leaves off of the plant for my greens and for my lettuces. And you want to leave the inner leaves intact, because that will encourage it to continue to grow. So harvesting the outer leaves will definitely encourage the plant to produce more leaves and continue to grow, so you can just continuously harvest those leaves. So it's a really great thing. And then you want to keep your greens cool. So salad greens prefer cooler temperatures. So try to harvest them in the morning time or early afternoon when the temperatures are a little bit lower. If you're not using your greens right away, store them in the refrigerator in a plastic bag. That just helps to contain the freshness, and it helps to keep them nice and crisp. So those are just a few quick and simple things you can do to get started on your own salad garden. And hopefully that will help give you a boost and a jump start in just growing your own fresh and delicious greens and lettuces all season long. That's it for today, friends. If you plan on making this recipe, or if this has inspired you to grow a salad garden, let me know. Tag me on Cook the Garden on Instagram, or use the hashtag Cook the Garden. Also, don't forget to join our Facebook community. That would actually be a really great place for you to share all of your garden and kitchen wins with just a great group of gardening and cooking enthusiasts like you. So the links to all of the ways to stay in touch with me are in the show notes as well. And I thank you all for listening. Have a blessed week, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to this week's Cook the Garden. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave a 5-star review. As a new podcast, it really helps to add value while growing our awesome community. As always, I really appreciate it. Until next time, friends, keep slaying those garden fresh recipes.